Is DevOps really a role for freshers? Can a fresher join as a DevOps, or is it just meant for the experienced professionals?
CI/CD is not DevOps. Tooling is not DevOps. Only a culture change is not DevOps. Renaming your operations team to SRE is not DevOps. So I did my engineering in the year 2000. So I've been around for about 24 years now.
Yeah, I was in school
And
at that time. But yeah, that's good to hear. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Piyush, and today I have a very special guest with me. Someone who has been there in the industry for over 2 decades, for many years into cloud and DevOps, and he has worked in many different roles. You name it: DevOps, DevOps evangelist, DevOps lead, uh, a DevOps director, and many more. He will tell you more about it. But without wasting any time, let's introduce our guest for today, Mr. Savinder Puri. Hello, Savinder ji. How are you?
hey Piyush, I'm doing very good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for accepting my invite and joining us today with this, helpful session. And I'm sure everyone will get something out of it. So maybe we can start with your introduction in your own words, just a brief about what you do, about your previous experience and so on.
Sure. So I did my engineering in the year 2000. So I've been around for about 24 years now.
Yeah, I was in school
And
at that time. But yeah, that's good to hear.
I hear that quite a lot these days here.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
was
Please continue.
so, I was doing an event in a college, and a lot of people were not even born at that time.
I
So
mean,
yeah,
okay.
I've been around for a while, and I got into DevOps when this was not even called DevOps before the
Mm,
term was coined. Right. So I always say I got in by chance, but I stayed back by choice.
that's good.
And in these 23, 24 years, I've had the opportunity to work across India, UK, Europe, US, South Africa.
Mm.
And I've worked in product companies, in startups. I had a little consulting gig of my own for a while. So yeah, I've been around for a while, and I'm an ambassador at Continuous Delivery Foundation at DevOps Institute. And along the way, I also managed to write a book on how to build your career in DevOps. And I also run a YouTube channel where I mix DevOps and spirituality.
Oh, that's amazing. So I actually had seen some of your posts about your the book that you publish about spirituality, but I was never really aware of the DevOps book. Can you tell me about it? Like, it's
So
interesting to know.
yeah, sure. So I took so many interviews for my organization, my clients, and there were a lot of repeatable questions. Right? I got tired of answering this question, and I said, I've read enough books. Now it's time to write one. So
That's
that's how
amazing.
that happened.
Okay, and how long ago did you write that book?
This was about 3 years back,
Okay,
and it's available on Amazon. It's a ebook, so you can download it on a Kindle and read it.
okay.
And it is on how to build or scale up your career in DevOps.
That's amazing. So I will share the link of the book in the description section. If anyone wants to have a look, please feel free to do that. So my next question to you, Savinder ji, is what is DevOps according to you? Like, there are so many definitions of DevOps that's floating around in the market, and everyone comes up and everyone creates their own definition of DevOps. So what according to you is the DevOps?
I have a very simple definition of DevOps. Anything that helps you to deploy your product or service to the market in a better, cheaper, faster, and more secure way is DevOps.
Amazing. That's you summed it up everything within one single line. So yeah, that is DevOps. And what is not a DevOps? Because sometimes people relate DevOps is equal to Kubernetes, or DevOps equal to CI/CD, or DevOps is like so many other things. So what according to you is not DevOps?
So CI/CD is not DevOps. Tooling is not DevOps. Only a culture change is not DevOps. Renaming your operations team to SRE is not DevOps. Going to a conference and getting infatuated by a speaker and saying, I will do this DevOps is not DevOps.
Yep. So event management is not
Event
DevOps. So
management is not DevOps.
yeah,
It could
that's
be a
that's
part
not
of
even part
DevOps.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it may be a small part of DevOps somewhere,
Mhm.
but other than the drinks and all, nothing else is DevOps.
Okay. Okay. And the other question that I do that I have been asked a lot of time by, especially by freshers, you know,
Mhm.
is DevOps really a role for freshers? Can a fresher join as a DevOps, or is it just meant for the experienced professionals?
Sure. So I like to give a slightly longer answer to this
Sure.
rather than just a yes or a no, because
Yep.
it's a layered question,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is the core job of a DevOps engineer? Very fundamental layer of a DevOps engineer is to be able to take a product's code, right, bare bone code,
Mm-hmm.
build it, compile it, and then deploy it in its target operating system and target environment. Right,
Yep.
at the core of it, that's what we are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are bells and whistles around it, but that's a fundamental job of a DevOps engineer.
Yep.
Now, how do you do this if you have never coded in your life?
Mm-hmm.
Right? How do you do this if you don't understand the entire software delivery life cycle?
Yep.
Now, to be able to do that, one way is obviously to be a developer for a couple of years, understand that, and then get in. But that would imply that a fresher cannot get into DevOps,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's where a slightly longer answer.
Okay.
A development background is required to be a good DevOps engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can get it on the job,
Mm-hmm.
or you could get it on your own, building
Correct.
projects
Mm-hmm.
outside of your college curriculum.
Correct.
So if you build enough projects, if you understand software engineering fundamentally,
Mm-hmm.
if you understand how the compiler works, what happens when your program doesn't compile, how do you debug it, how do you support stuff, if you understand all of that, no matter how you understand it, that's a prerequisite.
Yep.
So to me, it's an
Mm-hmm.
experienced person. An
Okay.
experience could be, I've spent the last 1 year writing stuff on my own.
Mm-hmm.
These are the 5 projects that I maintain on my own. These are the
Mm-hmm.
links.
Okay.
That is enough experience.
Yeah. So it.
So yeah,
Yeah. Sure.
experience
Good.
is required.
Mm-hmm.
Experience is required,
Mm-hmm.
but how and where of that experience can vary. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be employed somewhere.
Sure. So it totally depends on the definition of a fresher according to someone, right? So
Exactly. Yeah.
someone could have enormous experience by building the projects on their own or self-learning, and so whatever tutorials they are following or documentation they are following, and that could be an experienced professional, uh, and and that person would not be a fresher if they had that enough experience on their own. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's
To
that's
me,
beautifully answered, and that's some other perspective that I never even heard about it. So thank you for sharing this. So because currently, okay, maybe can you elaborate or can you explain your current role? Like what are you working currently?
so I work as associate VP at a SI, as a services company based in India.
Okay.
And there are various parts to what I do, but
Mm-hmm.
primarily my role is to get involved with our customers across the globe.
Mm-hmm.
So we operate primarily in 3 territories: UK, Europe, US, and South Africa.
Okay.
So I engage with customers, understand their problem statement,
Mm-hmm.
their business problem, and then design a technology problem to solve the business problem.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So I
That's
am
good.
involved at the C level
Mm-hmm.
and the architect level
Mm-hmm.
and at the execution level with my team. So I
Okay.
operate at all 3 levels today.
Okay, that's amazing. So, because you work as associate VP at a big tech organization and which operates globally, so you must be having some decision while hiring new candidates, right? Like
Mhm.
maybe you lay down some foundation or you set some rules or maybe you give some requirements. This is what I want and this is the type of team that I would like to build for my next project. So while hiring for candidates, especially for DevOps, what do you look for in a candidate?
That's a great question. And I typically hire across the board, across continents.
Mm-hmm.
So it varies a slightly differently across the place that you're hiring. But in general, I'm a big fan of seeing your work.
Okay.
You know, if so, to me, a good resume is which has a GitHub link, which has where you can provide a link of a medium or a hash node where you've written a bunch of documentation,
Mm-hmm.
where I can see your project live. That to me is a solid resume,
Okay.
rather than a 5 pager description all using power words. That time is gone.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
show me your work is my
Mhm.
mantra.
Okay, that's amazing, and I'm sure whoever is watching this video would be delighted to know that this is how you can apply for roles in big tech companies with DevOps cloud without having enough real-time experience. You can build your projects your own, you can do the self-learning, and you can showcase that in project. So let's say someone has built the project, someone has done enough work, gathered some knowledge, did the upskilling. Now, what should be the next step? How do they approach for the job roles? Like, do they apply over LinkedIn, or do they just keep on applying on the career-related websites, or what would be your approach?
So I would take a couple of steps back,
Mm-hmm.
right? So even when you're learning something, you should do what I like to call learn in public. Now, what does that mean? Let's say you want to learn Python, right? And you set out a program for yourself that over the next 3 months I will learn Python. I will learn this tutorial. I will watch this YouTube series. Whatever you want to do, I will take this course. Whatever you're doing, right? So what you do is Monday morning you log into LinkedIn and you say, "Hey folks, I'm on a journey over the next 3 months to learn Python. Follow me to know more updates." That's it. One line,
Yep.
right? Monday to Friday, you learn your Python, right? Friday afternoon, you sit down and whatever you have learned in that week, whatever little scripts you have written, whatever coding little bit you have done, put that on GitHub. Then go to a hash node or a medium, whatever website you're using, and say, in this week, I learned these 5 commands. I ran them. I learned how to create this in Python. These are the errors that I got. This is how I debugged it. This is a great tutorial. Here is a link. This is a great video. Here is a link and article. And then Friday evening, you log into LinkedIn again and you said, "Hey guys, this week I learned these 3 things. Here is a link to my GitHub. Here is a link to an article. See you next Friday."
Okay.
And then you repeat week
Mm-hmm.
after week.
Mm-hmm.
3 months, Python. Then another 3 months, something else. What happens is, as a result of 6 months, there is code populated on GitHub. There are 15, 20 articles on a hashnode.io.
Mm-hmm.
And now, when a recruiter is searching, they should get one of these things. And then, when they look at your LinkedIn profile and go to your resume, your interview is 50% done.
Okay. That's
That is
good.
how you crack jobs in 2024,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the goal should be, if you do this long enough,
Mm-hmm.
for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, as you go senior,
Mm-hmm.
your interview shouldn't even happen,
Yep. Yeah,
right?
I mean
Because
that's important. That's really important, and it is also important, like you've mentioned. It is important to write in GitHub or whichever blogging platform that you are using, because
yeah,
you are creating artifacts for yourself that others can refer. Also, you can refer in the future. Also, the recruiters can refer. So, just
correct,
writing few lines that I have learned this, it wouldn't guarantee that you have actually learned it unless you
no,
have written down a step by step blog or a GitHub repo which has a source code, which has some screenshots, some diagrams, something that proves that you have actually done it. So
yeah,
that's really important, and this is somewhere that people lacks the understanding of learning in public. I started my 40 weeks of Kubernetes challenge where I have provided clear instructions that this is what you
Mhm.
have to do. You have to create a GitHub repo, a link, a blog on Medium or whichever platform you are using, and then publish it from time to time, right? Most of the people are following it, but some of the people, they are learning everything. They have learned everything from day 1 to day 40, but they
Yep.
only wrote it on a LinkedIn post. So there are no artifacts, there are no blogging links, nothing. So if someone wants to know, like let's say a recruiter or hiring manager wants to understand, like you said, you look at their resume and what they have built. So
Mhm.
they won't find anything because there are no artifacts
Yep.
for them to refer, right? So that learning in public would be good for their learning, but that's it. I mean, while we are learning it, why cannot we take more advantage of it by publishing it, by sharing it with others, by making it available so that everyone can refer it? So
That's smart working, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, if you are doing it, do it properly. Why just doing it for the sake of doing it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good. And you have answered my next question as well. My next question was about what to include in the resume. So you have already shared like projects, GitHub links, LinkedIn profiles, and when building a solid resume, what do you think about the ATS score? How important it is, or how important it is to use a resume template?
So if you're anywhere less than 5, 6 years experience,
Mm-hmm,
unfortunately, ATS is important
mm-hmm,
because your resume won't even get filtered.
mm-hmm.
So what I recommend is create two resume, one for ATS and one the real one,
Okay.
right? Put the ATS, let the ATS do whatever it's doing. It's automated, right?
Mm-hmm,
Doesn't matter.
mm-hmm,
The moment you get a call from the recruiter saying, hey, we found your resume, we want to have a conversation,
mm-hmm,
you say, hey, you know what? Dump that resume. That is for ATS.
mm-hmm,
I'll send you the real one. And then you start there.
okay.
And if you have experience over 10 years, then
Mm-hmm.
you anyway shouldn't be worrying about ATS.
Correct.
Your real resume should do the job.
That's
If
true.
it's not, then you have something else to think about.
Yeah. Yes, true.
Okay, one
So
more thing.
mm,
Just a tidbit I want to throw in here.
please go ahead.
My resume after 24 years is one pager.
That's
If I
that.
see a 5-year guy resume with 5 pages, I know it is a whole lot of BS there.
Yeah, yeah. I heard people saying that I have worked with 4 or 5 different companies. How can I put my resume in 1 page or 2 page? So if you also are someone who has this question, just rewind back this video few seconds back and and listen to what Savinder ji just mentioned. So he has 23 years of work experience and he has a 1 pager resume. If he can do that, you can also do that.
If you can't, then come and talk to me. I'll tell you how
Yeah.
to do it.
And there is a link of the book in the description as well if you want to refer that. Okay. So the next question is around the resume itself. So what makes a DevOps resume stand out? Like there'll be thousands and many other people who are learning DevOps, who are building public, who are creating some amazing project. So how do someone stands out from all those people that are there out there?
It's a good question. And I have a well thought out answer for this. Okay, so what is a good interview? Right? A good interview is
Mhm,
if I am applying to your company, Piyush, for an interview, I want you to ask me the questions that I know the answer of. Correct?
mhm,
That's a good interview, according to me,
yep.
right?
Mhm,
Because if you can ask me the questions that I'm an expert on,
mhm,
I can do a good job and hopefully you'll be impressed and you'll select me,
mhm,
right? So the question is, how do I make you ask the questions that I know the answer of? Right? Have you seen the movie Inception?
mhm,
So that is planting an idea in somebody else's brain.
yep.
That is the goal of a good resume. What does that
Okay.
mean?
Okay.
I say I have deployed an application on Kubernetes.
Mhm,
So has a million other people.
correct.
What is the big deal?
Yep.
Right? But I say I deployed a multi tier application in Kubernetes which auto scaled 300% in under 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And I stop there.
that's a perfect
Nothing
example.
else.
Yes. Yeah, that's a perfect
Nothing
example.
else.
Yeah.
So, what's the question in your mind now? What the heck? How did you do it?
Mm-hmm.
What is the application?
Yes.
Why do you need to scale so fast?
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't answered those questions.
Mm-hmm.
You will ask me those questions.
Yes, and
These are called
and
hooks.
everything around scaling, like auto scaling, which scaling techniques have you used, have you implemented? So you already know the question that someone gonna ask after reading that particular line.
I plant the hook in your mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But to do that, I should have done the work.
correct.
Otherwise, I can't.
Yeah, just writing in the resume won't do anything good.
Won't work. Because
Yeah.
then you'll ask me good questions. And if I don't know the answer, I've dug a hole for myself.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
true.
good resume.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you create this?
Mm-hmm.
You pick your best work, right? And write it down on a page.
Mm-hmm.
In this project in the last 2 years, these are the three things that I have done awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Now, out of that work, you create a question and then you write the answer in your resume, not the question.
Correct.
So you flip it around,
Mm-hmm.
but you pick your best work and then you plan your resume that way. That's an outstanding resume.
That's a perfect answer and a perfect example that someone can incorporate. So the next question is about, one of the hot topic in the market now that AI is taking over so many places. Everywhere you see generative AI, everywhere people are using LLM training models. So in this era that we are living, what do you think is the future of cloud and DevOps?
So I get that question quite a lot, right? And
Mhm.
I have a very simple way of understanding this. Now, earlier in a company, uh, maybe about 20 to 30% people were writing code or
Mhm.
creating applications,
Mhm.
right? Because that's the developer community.
Mhm.
With AI, that number will go from 30% to 70, 80%. Because everybody is creating some sort of application, doing something, right? So, which means the need to deploy this, the need to manage this, the need to maintain all of this will go up, right? So, the shape and form of cloud and DevOps engineering will change, but it will become more important and more prevalent in the coming years because the invasion of AI will democratize the building of software.
Yep.
So, more and more people will build,
Mhm.
more stuff will get generated.
Mhm.
So will the ways to maintain, the ways to deploy, that will become easier. So people who are in DevOps or getting into DevOps, they will have to change their thinking. But it is not an area which is going anywhere. In fact, it will
Correct.
become more important as
Yeah,
things evolve.
it'll be expanded over the time. More and more things will be added.
Absolutely.
DevOps will have MLOps. It's already there, but
Yeah, yeah,
in the future we'll see more requirements. We'll see it expanding its food. It's In the future we'll see it expanding its feet. And um, yeah, like you mentioned, it's not going anywhere. Plus, what I would like to add over here, because all the let's say if you're talking about AI or if you're talking about
mhm,
training ML models or something, right? So it requires a huge computing power. It requires GPUs, TPUs, something that not everyone can afford, or something that not everyone, at least not in the startup culture, or not in the phase where they have not got their funding, or they don't have enough capital to expand on the infrastructure, right? So in those case, cloud it's something that they would utilize. So cloud is
mhm.
something that they would run their ML ops on, that they would train their model on, that they will host their models on, right?
Yep.
So cloud will be there, it will be expanded, it will be going multifold, and so the DevOps along with it, because there is a lot of overlap between cloud and DevOps. So I would be interested to see what's there in the future for cloud and DevOps. But yes, as you mentioned, it's not going anywhere. It's just gonna get better from here. It's just gonna get advanced from here.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So let's talk about, like you always say, you see DevOps and spirituality together, and you are a great ambassador of putting the word out there. So what is spirituality mean for you, and how does it fit into DevOps?
So I have a very simple definition of spirituality. Spirituality is being in the present moment now. So now I'm talking to Piyush. I'm not thinking, hey, it is almost evening in India. After this, I have to go take my family out somewhere. Where will I go for dinner? I have to get up in the morning. I'm not thinking any of that. My entire focus is on this podcast recording,
Yep.
and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
If you can do that, it's not easy to do. It's very, very difficult,
Yep.
because most of the times we are either living in the past
Or in the
or
future.
living in the future,
Yeah.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
a very simple technique to do that is this, which I call the click technique.
Mm-hmm.
So multiple times in a day, whenever you get a moment, do this, snap your fingers and check what are you thinking. And I can promise you 90% you will either be here or there.
Yeah.
You will not be here,
Yep.
right? So check this multiple times in a day,
Mm-hmm.
and slowly you won't even have to do click. You can tap your table, you can tap your leg, and then you get into a point where it doesn't even have to be physical. In your mind you can check, what am I
Mm-hmm.
thinking.
Yeah.
It's a practice, but
Mm-hmm.
that's what it is.
Okay. But how it is helpful, or how it is important to be in the present rather than in future or in the past?
Because 90% of the problems don't exist in present. It's easier in the
That's
future or in
that's
the
the
past.
perfect answer. Like I did not even expected this, but yes, please go ahead.
That's it, right? All 90% of the problems are
Mm,
kal ye ho gaya to,
mm,
what if this happens tomorrow, or why did this happen to me.
yes.
That's 90% of the
So
problems.
90% of our life problems will be solved if we live in the present, in the present moment.
That's it,
Yeah.
right? And now, how do you relate this with DevOps? Because doing DevOps for one team, for 5 teams in an organization is
Mm-hmm.
easy.
Mm-hmm.
That's table stakes. Everybody's doing it today. But to do it for multiple teams across geographies, across the organization, in a large organization, takes a lot of synchronization, takes a lot of alignment of people. And the only way a leader can do alignment of other leaders is when you have sanity up here,
Yeah.
right?
True.
It's because it's about showing them a way of doing things
Mm-hmm.
which might be different from what they've been doing for 15, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And to get them aligned, you need your thought process aligned. Only then it'll happen. Otherwise, we've seen a lot of DevOps initiatives fail because of this. You could have the best tooling, you could have the best laid off process. If the people on the ground don't follow it,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to help.
True.
So that's where it intersects.
Mm-hmm. And how important it is in someone's personal life, like for their mental well-being, how important it is for that.
So mental health is a big topic,
Mm-hmm.
and rightly so, because there is so much of stress and pressure out there, most of it self generated,
Correct.
right? And most of it coming from this cell phone that all of us have, right?
Yeah.
It's a great thing, but it is
Mm,
also a curse, right? And most of it is fear of missing out. Again, that guy went there, I didn't go there. That guy did this, I didn't do this.
mhm.
Goes back to the same thing, right? If you can start living in the present moment, this doesn't matter.
Yep.
So I'll tell you a simple example. In
Mhm.
my home, we have not heard the news for over 10 years.
Okay.
We have a TV, But the TV has only the Netflix and the Amazons of the world. There is no live TV happening here. We
Mhm.
don't get a newspaper at home, right? So if you ask me what happened in the world yesterday, unless there is a new war which is all over, I probably won't know. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It's fine. I will probably flunk a general knowledge test. I am perfectly happy with that, right? And on every other Saturday or Sunday, we have a big jar on the dining table. The rule is this is a detox Saturday or a Sunday. And what we do is we put all our cell phones in that jar, the tablet next to that jar, and we lock it.
Okay.
And the rule is you only open it if the damn thing rings.
Okay.
No checking email, no WhatsApp.
Mhm.
Only if the phone rings, you pick it up, you take the call, you put it back.
Mhm.
Very simple practice. We do it every couple of weeks.
That's nice.
It is liberating.
Yeah, that's good. And this is
Yeah.
for us to self realize, like, if we can live without it or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you practice it enough, you will realize that yes, it's like we ourselves have become dependent on that. Like, it's not a necessity, is like it's more of a, because we have to check our social media, we have to check what's going on with someone else's life. So that is why we get attracted toward it, but it's like, other than that, it's nothing. Yeah.
It's
So
designed that way, right? That's the
yeah,
whole design of that ecosystem to pull
correct,
you in.
correct. So, and also, like, I would like to add, because when, like, this is something that I have been talking to someone yesterday as well. So it was about mental well-being. So what I feel is, like, if you are young, if you know if you are in, let's say, in your teens or in your early 20s, you don't have a lot of responsibilities, you don't have kids, you don't have family pressure, you don't have a lot of other things. So it's okay if you do the hustle, if you work 15 hours a day and spend time on doing what you love or building what you love. But when you grow old, when you have kids, when you have a spouse, when you have a lot of other things to take care of, uh, taking care of your mental well-being should be your topmost priority. Because if you are not well, if you are mentally stressed, if you are thinking about thousand other things that does not exist, then you won't be able to do anything at all. But
Mhm.
people give that the least priority. It doesn't get the attention that it deserves. And when we realize it, it becomes too late.
Yeah.
So
True.
it is really important that we treat this as our topmost priority, and all the things that you have mentioned. Okay, so okay, let's divert from that topic for a moment. So let's talk about, because you have been a great mentor for many other folks out there, and I learned a lot from your videos. I enjoy listening to you, your words of wisdom. So, what, according to you, is the importance of a mentor in life, and how do we get one?
Yeah. So there are something called as, so if when you're driving, right? So especially when you know the corner opposite to you at the back, that is where most accidents happen because that's a blind spot.
Hmm.
You can't see that spot,
Yep.
right? No matter how good a driver you are, you can judge it, but you can't see it. That's the role of a mentor, to tell you your blind spot. It is like I don't know what I don't know,
Hmm.
right? If I speak too fast, if I am rude to people, if I rub people the wrong way, if I say the wrong things at the wrong time, it's very hard for me to realize it.
Hmm.
But a good mentor will tell you your blind spot and expose them to you. And that is an invaluable set of information if you intend to do something about it.
Yep.
Because it's the only way to realize it by making a mistake.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's an expensive mistake.
Yeah.
Right
True.
now, what I like to call out is the difference between a mentor and an influencer.
Mhm.
A mentor has a vested interest in your success. If you succeed,
Mhm.
the mentor will gain, most probably not financially, but some bonding, some connection, some mental peace, some intangibles with the mentor.
Yep.
That is typically not financial.
Mhm.
An influencer doesn't even know you exist, right? So because I talked to a lot of youngsters, they said, this guy said this on YouTube. My first question to them is, did you check the fruit on the tree? Which means the guy is talking about remote jobs. Fantastic.
Mhm.
When was the last remote job he or she did?
Yeah.
If they haven't, then I'm sorry, my friend, they are not qualified.
Yes.
Right. So I read somewhere in a book, right? A guy goes to a bookstore and he picks up a book, and the book is titled How to Live 100 Years.
Mhm.
The guy flips the book, looks at the author, Googles the author's age. If the guy hasn't lived 100 years, how can he write a book on that? It's as
True.
simple as that,
True.
right?
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, if they are telling this, that means they are gathering knowledge from here and there, from some posts, from some articles or whatever. But that's not the real time experience that they are providing you, and that's not what you look for, right?
Correct. That is good as an information. There is nothing wrong in that,
Hmm.
right? This perfectly fine. It's good general knowledge,
Yes.
but it's not mentorship.
Correct.
Mentorship is somebody who has a vested interest in your success
Mhm.
and has done what he or she is teaching, or
Mhm.
has enough knowledge to talk about that subject.
Mhm.
That's mentorship.
Okay.
Now, the difficult part is, how do you find a mentor,
Mhm.
right? Because typically you can't go up to a mentor, somebody, and say, "Hey, Piyush, will you become my mentor?" It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Right.
If I want you as my mentor,
Mhm.
I have to qualify in your eyes to be a mentee,
Correct.
and you will automatically start mentoring me. It's not a transaction.
Mhm. True.
Hey, Piyush, I like the painting in your room. Where did you buy it? Can I buy it from you? It's
Mhm.
not that,
Yep.
right? You have to
Mhm.
build trust over a period of time, and a mentor can be in your home, it could be a relative, it could be in your office, it could even be somebody junior.
Mhm.
But you have to earn that trust of a mentor, and it starts unknowingly.
That's true.
So,
So
people
you
often
you
ask,
so you don't find a mentor finds you.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. But how do you make sure that people who are in your mentor category,
Mhm.
wannabe mentors,
Mhm.
how do you help them find you? You listen to them and then you do what they are saying, and hopefully they notice you.
Correct.
That's
That's
the only way to get
that's
noticed.
true. Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and I would like to add something on top of what you said about checking the fruits on the tree. So
Hmm.
there are many instances where people get influenced by someone who says that DevOps is not for fresher. So my
Yeah.
only question is, just check if that person has ever worked as a DevOps engineer. If
Yeah.
not, then that shouldn't be the person that you should be asking this question. You should ask this question to someone who is a fresher and who is working as a DevOps. Just
Correct.
go and check with them, how did they get the job, how did they apply for it, what preparation did they do, and all of the other things. So that is the correct person, even if that person is not an influencer, even if that
That's
person does
right.
not have a lot of following, but he has what you need. He has the experience that you are looking
Yeah.
for, he has the answer to your questions that you are looking for. So look for that, and that is what you need, and this is the tree which has the fruits that you need. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm loving this conversation that we are having, but we have to end it somewhere. So my last question to you would be, and please be as descriptive or as elaborative as you want. It's really up to you. So what does the what are the few, or what is the top career advice you would want to give to student or freshers, and especially for cloud and DevOps, who are cloud and DevOps aspirants or enthusiasts?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the first thing is, stop worrying. Don't get paranoid,
Yeah.
right? I was talking to somebody, a college student in the first year. I was doing a live a week before, right? First year engineering student, and he says, "Sir, I'm very late in life. I don't know if I'll get a job or not."
Little.
My question to him was, "Dude, do you have a girlfriend?"
Mm.
And he goes, "Shh, Papa bete hai." My dad is sitting next to me. And my answer to him was, "Dude, you first year, you have 3 more years. You can figure shit out. Do what you're supposed to do in engineering college. Because
Mm.
if you don't do it then, and if you do it at 30, that's a problem."
Yes.
So, so live your life. It
Mm.
is gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Some start early, some start late, some make it early, some make it a little late.
Mm.
Eventually, it all works out. So,
Yes.
first thing, stop getting paranoid and stop getting worried,
Yeah.
right? Put yourself at ease. It is okay.
Mhm.
If three of your friends got placed, if that guy has cracked an internship and you haven't, it's fine.
That's
Relax.
okay. Yeah, that's okay.
That's the first thing,
Mhm.
right? Second, make a plan for yourself which is based on tangible guidance. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and then make a plan for yourself. And once you've made a plan that you're confident of, then cut out all the noise. Then focus on the plan, right? Then don't look, Chat GPT released a new model, Elon Musk launched a rocket. Oh my God, should I leave engineering and start studying rocketry? No. You have a plan for the next 3 months. Focus on your damn plan. Cut out everything. Accomplish this, then reevaluate.
Yep.
And the third thing, especially for freshers or college students, there is nothing permanent, right? I wrote a post about that on LinkedIn sometime back. It says, "This too shall pass." If the time is bad, this too shall pass.
True.
If the time is good, this too shall pass. If you flunked an exam, this too shall pass. If you got an internship, this too shall pass. There is nothing final. If something is bad happening in your life, hold on to your guts. Go back to what I said. Number one, this is going to be okay. Number two, make a plan. Focus on that plan, and this too shall pass. Hang on there. It's okay. So, those are the only three things. Rest, everything else you can figure out.
Okay. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you. I wanted to stand up and give you a standing ovation over here, but
जब भी डाल लेते
that's but I would say that's beautifully answered, and all the answers that you have given, the discussions that we had, I enjoyed it, and I'm sure everyone who is watching this video would get a lot out of it. Try to not just listen to this, try to implement these things in your life, and you will see a lot of changes happening around, because upskilling is one thing, learning technology is one thing, but then taking care of your mental health is other thing, taking charge of your life is another thing, right? If you learn, I know someone, right, who is really good DevOps engineer, who had learned a lot of DevOps tool technologies, processes, everything that I would want to see in a DevOps engineer, but that person worries too much. He don't apply to job, he don't go to interviews because of the fear of rejection. right? And that is why I'm saying, that is why you are here, that is why you have what you have mentioned, that it is important to not just upskilling. This is important to take care of those things as well, because if you have learned a lot of things but you are not able to showcase it, then it will be just for you. You won't be able to get a job, or you won't be able to build something that you would like, because you will always be fearful of getting rejected, or the failure. So like what I have said, try to implement these things. These are the words of a wisdom. These are the words from someone who's been there in this industry for over 23 years, and he has shared all the experience with you. So try to implement it, and feel free to reach out if you have any question, if you have any comments. Do follow his YouTube channel, and connect him on LinkedIn. I will share all the links in the description. And yeah, so thank you so much, Savinder ji. It was pleasure talking to you, and we'll connect again sometime soon. So thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you, Piyush. It was fun having you talking to you.
Thank you.